Live from Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, you're listening to live stream coverage of William Peace Men's Soccer on the WPU Athletics YouTube channel, presented by the Athletic Communications Department. Thank you for joining us on the Pacers Sports Network. I'm your host, Graham Hill. Shelby Labardo and Jacob Lidicott are the producers of this broadcast. It's time once again for everybody's favorite event, prime time with the Pacers, and match number 14 overall of the men's soccer 2022 season, as they'll be under the lights this evening as they welcome Wesleyan University battling Bishops. First of two this week for the Pacers after their trip to Mary Barwin this past weekend when they defeated the Fighting Squirrels 3-0. The Pacers acquiring their fourth win in USA South Conference play. We're only down to the final three matches of the regular season before the postseason arrives. Before kickoff, which comes to us shortly after 7 p.m., let's preview tonight's game as we welcome you into the Pacer pregame show. Thank you for joining us here on the WPU Athletics YouTube channel. We'll hear from head coach Ryan Huber momentarily in our pregame coverage, but let's start things off with our first pre-match interview. We're now being joined by our first coach of the segment, Associate Head Coach Ozzie Peralta, who is pretty much the Swiss Army knife, some would say, of this William Peace soccer program. He was a player under Coach Huber. He now coaches alongside Ryan Huber. But before that, he was also the head athletic communications director for the Pacer Sports Network, really all Pacer athletic streaming services. Coach Peralta, let's start with that. Just what does it mean to have all those different titles underneath your established career here at the university?
I think first and foremost, thanks for having me, Graham. I'll start with I guess a sense of pride, obviously with just being here from the very beginning, and like you said, you alluded to my time with Coach Huber. My time with Coach Huber was actually predated to Lewisburg, North Carolina, way back in the day, where he was at Lewisburg College as an assistant, and I actually went to those camps. Him and Dave Sexton, who is a renowned junior college coach in the U.S., and I used to go every summer to their camps. So our time together dates back to circa 2009, 2010, myself and Coach Huber. So I guess you could say it was a long time coming, or us working together and me playing for him, whatever it was. But you talking about just my time here at Peace, I would say obviously starting out right when the program was new, that was a big thing for us, that we wanted to get something going and wanted to get things going the right way. And at the beginning, it was hard, obviously, just the layout of the department and all that other stuff. So I endured some times that weren't so great. And, I think that makes things even better, just seeing from the beginning and how we went through our struggles and, the growing pains, as people say. And then when you get through those growing pains, everything you start doing, you can say that, you help build it or you help get it there some way, some shape or form. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is knowing that I was there at the beginning as a player, and then hopped on as an assistant, immediately graduated, and then now I've thankfully been named associate head coach. So I'd just say pride and just overall a sense of accomplishment, I guess, and just a sense of for me, seeing things out from the beginning to now. So that's a long answer, kind of.
Oh no, it's the play-by-play commentator in you with that in-depth answer.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, of course, I have to ask, just because during your time in the athletic communications department, you did some play-by-play.
Mm-hmm.
What's harder, coaching a game or broadcasting a game?
Oh man, that's a hard one. So, and I'll kind of preface this. So, last year we unfortunately fell out in the semifinals in a very close contest to Covenant, and the next day I had to do play-by-play for Covenant versus NC Wesleyan for the championship. So that was tough, knowing that you were potentially 6 seconds or 4 minutes away from potentially being in that game, and then falling short, and then you have to get up the next day and do a play-by-play of a championship that you wish you could have been in, right? So I say both of them are hard in their own way. To where coaching, you have to adjust. Well, they're similar and different in their own ways, because obviously you both have to adjust at any point, any given moment. Something happens in the game, or something happens with your equipment, whatever it is, and you got to adjust. And as people say in the popular Friends show, you got to pivot at times. And with coaching, something might happen, a red card for the other team. There's always some adjustment that has to be made, and that's something that I've always been a big fan of, and any coaches that I've worked with and been mentored by is there's always got to be some sort of adjustment at some point during the game, because if not, the game is going to just run by you really quickly. So I'm a big believer in just making adjustments on the fly, and I think that's what makes both similar. But I would say, obviously, coaching, since I'm a coach right now, that's a little difficult, but I will also give major props to play-by-plays, because we've seen some crazy stuff happen on air, off air, equipment, whatever it is. So to me, it's like they both are similar, but they're all different in their own way.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact reason why you had to do that game against Covenant last season.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's slipping my mind. But anyways, I digress. Speaking of last season, you were also named the interim head women's soccer coach, where you led the program to their first program win over crosstown rival Meredith College, and had 2 all-conference selections, a part of the roster that you took over.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like, from not only being assistant coach for the men's side, but then taking over as head coach for the women's side?
For me, it was a great experience, because I got to see both sides of, college soccer. And I saw, obviously been with the men's program since the beginning. And then the women's side, I'd seen it from afar and been close to it, and obviously stat in games and stuff like that. So for me, it was one of just learning. And that's what I would say my biggest takeaways from this was just learning things. And, where now it was like I had my staff, right, that pieced together, borrowing some from, what was left of from the previous regime, and then bringing over Maximo, Coach Max, that has since left, but just piecing a staff together that really helped me get through all of that stuff. And it was, I guess, like I talk about changes on the fly, that was something that it happened on a pre-game day, I guess. I think it was a Thursday, and we played on that Saturday. And, it was just, it had to be on the fly, and the girls are really receptive to everything, and just, help make things as enjoyable as possible. And, we did what we could, and I thought we battled with some really good teams and got some big wins. And just for me, it was the biggest takeaway was just learning, because then right after that, I actually went right into another club gig, which was, I moved over to NCFC. So it was a time of that kind of triggered some time of change for me, good change, because then I got to work with some really good coaches at NCFC, and I actually took over for Sharif Saber, who is now the head women's coach at USC Upstate, and spent some time with him during the transition. So really a time of change and a time of learning for me, which I think will go a long ways in my coaching development and stuff.
We'll hear from head coach Ryan Huber next in our Pacer pregame show, but right now we're being joined by associate head men's soccer coach and also men's soccer recruiting coordinator. That's one more thing to add to your resume here on the Pacer pregame show. Let's actually talk about tonight's game, which is what I meant to do this entire time. And that's what's so great about talking to you, is that you just have so much stuff that you can go on about that it's hard to focus on the main thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Coach, coming in tonight playing against NC Wesleyan, obviously this game is big for Coach Huber, but it's also big for not just you, but the entire team as well, as you guys are just riding a wave of success. What are your key strategies to tonight's game? And also, just from your perspective, talk about the season that you've seen this team have so far?
Yeah, so I think we preach a lot of things to the guys in training and pretty much from the beginning. The first day we set out our core values and tell them the things that we have to do to be successful. I think we always, as a coach, you always have to be careful in saying that you have to execute things. You can't just say we got to do, this is what we got to do. You got to execute it, right? And so for us, it had always been discipline, intensity, and urgency, and those are the keys that we always say that will give us a chance if we do those things. But then immediately after our first win against Randolph, and then we played it was a really hard opening weekend. We played two really good teams in Randolph and Hampton-Sydney. So you saw us dig in for 90 minutes against Randolph and really play, I'd say, a complete game with not necessarily, but like we pieced it together to where we got a 1-0 result. And in soccer, you got to get those sometimes. And so that showed that we could do that. And then the next game against Hampton-Sydney, we let 2 goals in the span of 30 seconds. And that showed that, if we aren't switched on and ready to go, teams will punish us. And so from then on, I tell you, we really, we didn't struggle, but we just were trying to find that identity of this team, because every team is different every year, and we were trying to find the identity of this team, having so many returners, and we started sprinkling some of the freshmen in there and getting them some minutes, and you can see Josh Rutland, who's having a really, really good year so far, came in and made that role his. And before then we were trying some different formations, or not formations, but different lineups. And it kind of, after the Johnson and Wales loss, and that was our last loss, it was very, I guess, in a sense, refreshing to know that, you are very close to, what you want to accomplish, but you're also very close to I don't want to say failure, but not getting the game plan done and being exposed a little bit by other teams. And so for us, that was a wake-up call that I think started a lot of things for us, in the sense of just a different attitude, a different mindset. And we're really good when we get forward fast. And as you've seen, we've scored 13 goals and I think allowed 0 in conference play. And that's just, and you see when the goals are scored, it's either right at the beginning of the second half, the beginning of the first half, and there really hasn't been an in-between, to where they just kind of come in bunches. And that's something that I think really good teams that are attacking teams do well, is just you score when you get the chances and you score quick. And then after that, you just worry about the defensive side of things and making sure you keep a clean sheet, which I'll give credit to our back four and our goalkeeper Trip Kid. But really the whole team, and just the mindset of you got to transition, you got to get behind the ball, and you got to make sure that the other team doesn't score. And that's, I think, something that we've done really, really well. But just going into this game, our last game against Mary Baldwin, I'd say we weren't their sharpest, and it's a hard trip. You go 4 hours on a bus, you get off, and it's hard, because it's you do that in a day, and it's and anyone in the USA South goes through that trip, and they'll tell you it's a difficult place to play, and they made it difficult for us in the first half. But then, like I said, beginning of the second half, we put some away and then just went from there. And so I think that's what we look for tonight. And then you talk about the keys, it's making sure we keep our discipline, making sure we have the intensity going forward, and making sure we do what we do best, and that's getting forward fast and putting it in the back of the net.
I don't even think I have to bring up any game notes during the actual game, because you just mentioned it all for me. Sir, whether you're a player or a coach, you will never lose your play-by-play commentary side. Great stuff as always. Yep. Associate head coach for your William Peace men's soccer team and men's soccer recruiting coordinator. I thought I had an impressive resume. It does not compare to yours. Coach Ozzie, best of luck in tonight's game, and thank you for joining us on the Pacer pregame show.
Thank you, Graham. Appreciate it as always.
Coming up next, we'll hear from the head men's soccer coach of your William Peace Pacers ahead of the Pacers match against the Ballin Bishops, as you're listening to pregame coverage of William Peace Soccer on the Pacers Sports Network. Welcome back to the Pacer pregame show. Graham Hill now being joined by head coach of your William Peace Pacers, Coach Ryan Huber. Now, Coach, I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous just because this is my first time on the call this season for one of your games, and so far you guys have been spectacular all season long without me. You're coming into tonight's match on a 6-game win streak. You just acquired your 6th shutout of the season, defeating Mary Baldwin 3-0 this past Saturday. But let's not make it about myself. From the coach perspective, what are some of the things that you told your team that you guys have to be cautious tonight hosting this Battling Bishop squad?
I think the big things are, and it doesn't change really throughout the season or change depending on who we play, but I think the big things that we stress is number one, we have to be disciplined with how we play and organized and make sure we don't get into any extra things and just stay disciplined through the 90 minutes. We have to have a high level of intensity for the 90 minutes, and we have to play with a sense of urgency for 90 minutes. Those are really the three things that we stress throughout the season, but especially tonight as we play another really good opponent. We have to make sure that we're locked in for 90 minutes with those 3 areas.
2 more matches remain after this one tonight against the Battling Bishops. Let's go back to the very start of the season where it was a little up and down. You know, you win a match, draw a match, lose a couple matches, and it would seem like at times the season would be at a crossroads. You know, you were still trying to figure out which direction you wanted to go, but you guys have certainly been able to turn the corner. What do you think has led into the success that you guys are seeing right now at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think the first half of the season we tested our guys. We tested them with the schedule, and we've never played a schedule as competitive as our non-conference schedule this year. And we knew that we were going to have some games where we were going to have to work incredibly hard just to stay in the game, and I think that at this point those are starting to pay off. And the being able to draw number 12 in the nation, Lynchburg, was a big one, and I think that just battle tested us a little bit, and we knew we were good and could have some success, but I think in previous years we haven't tested ourselves as much in non-conference. So we tested ourselves, which made it a little bit difficult the first month of the season, but I think some of our success over the last couple of weeks has been from maybe some of the confidence and what we learned about ourselves playing a tough non-conference schedule.
Of course, at this point of the season, acquiring 8 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws, 4-0 in conference play, it certainly does help when you improve your non-conference portion of the schedule to be at this point of the season, but it also helps when you have a veteran squad like you guys do. I remember you saying, as we were talking a little bit prior to the season, that you felt like this might be one of the most veteran groups you've had as a coach here at William Peace.
Yeah, definitely by far. I mean, we have 12 seniors. And a lot of them play significant roles for us and have played significant roles for us for the last couple of years. And I've always said since I got here that I think the most successful teams are the teams that have large classes of upperclassmen. And we've kind of built into that, and hopefully moving forward we'll continue to have large classes of upperclassmen every year. But I think that's just a testament to those players that have kind of bought in and put in the work over the last couple of years, in the season, off season, through COVID, through everything, and now I think hopefully all the work and everything they've put in is finally paying off for them in their senior year.
So let's talk a little bit about your roster that you guys have. Certainly helps, as you mentioned, returning 12 seniors, and naturally you want your seniors to be the leaders. You want them to adopt that leadership role. Just kind of mention some of the seniors that you noticed kind of buy into that role this year.
I mean, all of them. I don't think you can really name one, but I mean, you have Rush at center back, who's been a key player for us for 4 years and started pretty much every game for 4 years, and has been first team all conference, a second team all region player. And then in the middle with the seniors, you have TJ and Danny kind of holding it down in the middle of the park, and then you go up front and you have George. This is his 5th year and he's put in the time. I would say those kind of 4 or 5 seniors are guys that have play a huge role and have played a huge role for the years. But we have a number of other guys. I mean, you have Karan, who's in his 5th year, that's playing at a really high level at outside back. you have Kofi and Fonzo, and they're coming off the bench and impacting the game. I think that it's not just one guy, it's not two guys. I think the entire group is really playing a huge role on the field, but also in practice every day and in leadership every day in the locker room and preparations for the game. I think that whole group has been huge for kind of how we're playing right now.
From members of the senior class to a member of the junior class, Jorge Lemus just continues to get better and better each season. Currently leading the team in goals with 9. Just what have you seen out of him, not just this year, but ever since he was a freshman and has been a part of this program?
Jorge is just individually different. He's just he's a special person, but he's a special player, man. Like when he's on the ball, he can do things so casually that other players couldn't think of doing. And so I think just the flair and the kind of change of pace and the ability to put the ball in the back of the net and his work rate, I think that he brings something different that nobody else in our league has, and he just continues to get better and continues to get more confident and continues to become a little bit better leader every year, and obviously he's a huge part of what our success has been the last 3 years, but this year kind of leading us in goals, and he's second in the league in goals right now, but he's just I can't say it, he's just different in a good way.
Members of the senior class, of course, you just mentioned Jorge Lemus Jr. on the squad. Now let's go down to a member of the freshman class. Josh Rutland has come in and made a huge impact for your squad. He's the second goal-leading scorer for this Pacer team with 7. Talk a little bit about his success and just what you've seen out of him as he's just come in and just made an impact right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that obviously he's a really good player, and we really liked him a lot in high school, and he was an all-state player in North Carolina. I think that he finds a way to just put the ball in the back of the net and be dangerous. But I think that's also credit to George is playing out wide on the other side, and Jorge is playing centrally. He's able to just isolate a little bit. And because you can't just focus on one of our guys or even 2 of our guys, because all 3 of them have the ability to break you down and be dangerous. And he's just come in and he's kind of got confidence really quickly as a freshman, and he's just right now he's finding the back of the net, and that's you can't ask for a whole lot more, especially as a freshman to come in and be able to make an impact like that immediately.
And then let's talk about the player in front of the net for your squad, junior goalkeeper Trip Kidd, who has 6 saves for the season. He's only allowed 2 goals on 19 shots that he's faced. He definitely has been waiting patiently for his time to be in the spotlight, and it also helps that he played under Jacob Smith, who was phenomenal for your team last year. But just what's impressed you so far about Trip Kidd this season?
Well, ever since we recruited Trip, he knew he was coming in and going to compete with Jacob his first 2 years, and obviously Jacob was the best goalkeeper in the league, and we knew that we probably had the second best goalkeeper in the league in our goalkeeper group. But no, Trip has just worked incredibly hard and over the last couple of years, and obviously working with Jacob and behind Jacob and seeing some things that he does, and then Coach Ortiz, who's with our goalkeepers every day, just do a really good job, and he's kind of come in and kind of grown into a little bit more of a leader and from the back, and he's done an incredible job making the saves that he needs to make, and just playing with confidence. And we knew what we had. Even when we had Jacob, we knew what we had behind Jacob. So just really happy with him. And then all 4 of our goalkeepers are really good. Tripp is just has kind of separated himself and done a fantastic job leading us this year.
Head coach Ryan Huber joined us on our Pacer pregame show ahead of his team's match against the NC Wesleyan Fallon Bishops. Coach Huber's in his 6th season leading the Pacer squad, but before that, you spent 6 seasons, I should say, at NC Wesleyan. For you personally, every time this match comes around the schedule, just how do you feel knowing that you spent time there and then you've obviously have acquired lots of success here for this school. Just what does it mean every time you guys get to play NC Wesleyan?
It's a fun game, man. Like you said, I spent 6 years there, and I really enjoyed my time there, working with Frankie, who was the head coach that I worked with when I was there, and learned a lot when I was there. But being able to be here and run my own program, it's a fun one to go back and or be able to play against your old team. But it's also like a pride thing where you put a little bit more on this game, maybe just because it's pridefully you don't want to not get a result against your previous employer. So I think for me there's a little bit more on it, but that's not on the guys. That we just got to do our job, and I don't talk about that with the guys, and that's kind of just one of those things. For me, it's prideful. For the guys, I mean, it's an opportunity for us to separate ourselves at the top of the league, and so none of what happened for my 6 years there doesn't matter tonight. What matters is we put ourselves in a position to host 2 postseason games, and that's what's on the line every time you play NC Wesleyan is who's going to end up hosting at the top of the table.
Coach Huber, thank you for your time. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
That is head coach Ryan Huber joining us on the Pacer pregame show. We'll take one final pause. When we come back, we'll have opening kickoff between NC Wesleyan and your William Peace Pacers right here on the Pacers Sports Network. With a game as big of an atmosphere as this, you don't even need to take one last pause. As we were getting ready for opening kickoff here between the Wesleyan University, Ballin Bishops, and your William Peace Pacers. Thank you for joining us on the Pacers Sports Network as we are under the lights. Conference matchup as there's the opening kickoff. The Ballin Bishops will control the first possession, and we are underway here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Ballin Bishops will drop it all the way back to the sophomore goalkeeper, Freddie Rogers. Starting lineups for the Ballin Bishops. Of course, you have Rogers, the sophomore goalkeeper, in front of the net. You'll have sophomore midfield number 5, Tomas Ilario, followed by sophomore forward number 11, Antonio Sass. Senior midfield number 3, Luca Zalo. Sophomore defender number 26, Kiefer Peretz. Freshman forward number 27, Leo Lulana. Sophomore midfield number 13, Felipe Garcia. Junior defender number 31, Augustin Belgerino. Freshman defender number 32, Lucas Maragasa. And then to finish it off for the Ballin Bishops, you have number 45, Osei Darko. We'll give you the Pacers starting lineup in just a second as play is underway here at Wake Med Soccer Park. We're already 1 minute into the action. And as the Pacers try to establish possession, let's give you their starting lineups. In front of the net, junior goalkeeper number 1, Trip Kidd. Senior defender number 4, Rush Campbell. Junior forward number 7, Jorge Lemus. Senior midfield number 8, TJ Hurd. Senior midfield number 9, Danny Alvarez. Senior midfield number 10, George Aguilar. Senior forward number 12, Karan Williams. Junior midfielder Romero Vera. Freshman defender number 24, Davis Kelly. And then freshman forward Josh Rutland finishes off the Pacer starting lineups as we are just over 2 minutes played in the opening half of the match. On the far side of the field now, it'll be a throw-in coming up for the Pacers as they try to keep it down the near sideline. Now working in the middle as Alvarez sends it over to the right side. Flag comes up, and it's going to be an offside going against the Pacers. Fallon Bishops trying to work the midfield area. As Sauce was battling for it. Now trying to establish a run as Baluan. Pacers trying to clear it out of their zone. As Hurd will put a touch on it. And he'll just drop it all the way back to Lodsmer. Fallon Bishops get it down deep to the Pacer zone. Campbell now for a pass over to the left side to Williams. Williams short pass up ahead to Aguilar. Now on the far side of the field, Rutland has it. Trying to find Lemus. Bishop's back line strips it away as Lemurs sets up the play that then goes out of bounds. Pacers in the all whites shine under the lights here at WakeMed Soccer Park. Green number and lettering on the other side for their Fallon Bishops. They're wearing their road navy blues. White number and lettering. Solid white stripe down the sides. As the Fallon Bishops will put it back into play as they begin to work the far side of the field. Ball goes out of play at the midfield area. The edge of the box. Fallon Bishops trying to push the ball up. It's now Williams. Acquires the interceptions for the Pacers. Gives it right back to Zalo. Pacers coming to tonight's match. 8 wins. 2 losses, 3 draws for the season. 4-0 in USA South Conference play. As now a shot's taken from the edge of the box by Aguilar. As it goes in front of the goalkeeper, Rogers. And now he'll roll it out to the right side. Play resumes. Another whistle. Possession belongs to the Pacers. So they drop it back. Begin to push the ball up. Now have it on the left side of the box. But they gave it away. Down the sideline to the left of us. Mahagos throws it in. Now the feet of Rogers, who kicks it out. Opposite side of the field. From our view. As the Fallon Bishops get the ball in the box. But Kidd easily scoops it up. Throws it out to the left side. Kelly tries to send the ball up. As Mahagos was there to put a head on it. Now on the opposite side of the field once again, a pass to Kelly to Rutland. As Rutland tries to battle through contact. Another whistle. Foul. Going against Tommaso. Pace is trying to establish a run. Just on the edge of the middle circle. Hurd has it. Sends it up to Alvarez. Alvarez tries to send it in the box. Excuse me, that was Aguilar. As now Rutland takes a shot. As Rogers has to block it. But is able to settle it down. Now rolls it out to the left side. Quick strike for Rutland. He has 4 shots so far this season, with all 4 of them being on target. As you can tally another one to that list. To the left of our viewing screen, Allen Bishops trying to enter the Pacer zone. They now do on the far side. But they give it right back to the Pacers. It's now Hurd sending it up. The intended target Alvarez, but he had it taken away. So now Kelly tries to jump in. The attempt to keep possession on the left side of the pitch. Pacers working right to left of our viewing area. Crisp fall night here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Wind was blowing directly to our faces in our broadcast booth during warm-ups. Settle down now. Temperature's starting to reach the low 50s. As a lot of the Pacers have the white long sleeve undershirts underneath the all-white uniforms. Only a handful of Allen Bishop players with long sleeve navy blues undershirts completing the road unis. Back to the action. Hilario sends it out of play. Throw-in coming up for the Pacers. To the left side of the Allen Bishop bench. As they knock it right back out of play. Deep ball. Nothing to worry about for the Pacer back line. As they watch it take generous hops out of play. Possession going back to the Pacers. High arc and throw in. Reaches the Allen Bishops first. Hurd took the ball away. Then had it taken away by him by Zalo. And now right here in front of us, Aguilar tries to send it downfield to connect with Lemus. Now back in the midfield area. Allen Bishops trying to establish possession. Cade comes out of the net. Falls on top of it. Now right here in front of us, Aguilar once again, as he's taken down. The official saw contact as a whistle's called. And we'll have a throw-in coming up for the Pacers. Or excuse me, make that a free kick. It's Drew Fraser. Another defender on the Pacers back line. Missed him in the starting lineups. Resumes play. Another whistle. And we'll have a free kick coming up on the very far side of the field. To the right of the box. Could set up a good header opportunity for the Pacers. Trying to strike first. As we are under 14.5 played so far in half number 1. There's a whistle kick coming from the far side. Goes over the goal all the way over to the left side of the box. It's now Lemus will try to cross it back in. Aguilar is there to get a foot on it. So he was unable to get underneath all of that. Now Williams races, trying to keep it in. He's unsuccessful. Throw-in coming up to the Battling Bishops. Throw-in out for the Pacers. On the midfield area. Pacers drop it back to Fraser. Fraser over to Williams. Williams to the left of our view. Great move there by Williams to get in front of that Battling Bishop, as now he's taken down and slammed to the ground by Garcia. Hurt on a header attempt. Trying to keep it in. Goes past him. Now the Pacers will reset. Great move there by Karan Williams. He has such a nice touch out on the pitch. Sometimes looking like a highlight reel you'd watch on YouTube. Frazier now plenty of space. Short pass up to Hurd. Drops back. Now over to the left side to Williams. Williams back over to Frazier. Little triangle passing going around. As now Hurd will send the deep ball in to the Battling Bishop zone. As Kelly went right up, trying to establish possession of the ball. Made contact. Foul goes against him. Free kick for the Battling Bishops. Garcia. Through pass up top. As now almost a clothesline tackle by Belgerino to Aguilar. No foul called. One thing head coach Ryan Huber in his 6th season said would be a key to the game. He said his players are going to have to play with discipline and thick skin. As this Battling Bishop squad feels like they have something to prove tonight. As this was the first season that they were not picked to finish first in the USA South preseason poll. In fact, they were selected to finish second, right behind the Pacers. So Coach Huber preaching to his team that the Battling Bishops this season are going from being the standard to now trying to beat the standard. Coach Huber also telling his squad, with it being a late game in October, you don't come out here just to freeze your tail off. You come out here because you want to win, because games like these matter, especially when it comes down to conference seeding. who might be traveling on the road in the opening round. On the left side, Fallon Bishop's trying to clear it out. Under 30 to play here in the first half. Rutland now, nice moves. Takes a shot right on target to Rogers. Josh Rutland. Freshman forward. Second leading goal scorer for the Pacers. One thing he's so dangerous about when it comes to being on the attack, you give him just a little bit of separation from a defender and just a little bit of space, and he will find a way to put that shot right on target. I couldn't do it in real life, but I'm pretty good at doing that in FIFA. But those are two different things. In the midfield circle. Pass on the far side. Slide tackle made by Kelly. The official didn't like it. Whistle called. Hopefully Kelly doesn't get a yellow card here, as he did make the tackle from behind. The official will give him a warning, as it wasn't a clean tackle, but Kelly was able to stop a run. Yeah, Davis Kelly got lucky there. Obviously, he had the right intentions in mind, trying to stop the run coming in from the left side. That could have potentially set up an angle shot, as the Ballon Bishops will have a free kick. Pacers able to clear it out. But that's another thing that Coach Huber said, is that if there's any cards given, it better be on the Ballon Bishops for their lack of patience and frustration that starts to boil over. Well, the only way that's going to happen is if the Pacers play with urgency and apply pressure early on. So far, they've done a good job of that, as the Pacers have mostly controlled time of possession within the first 35 minutes. All the way back to Rogers. Short pass out. Now the Ballon Bishops will begin to work with space, as Rutland comes racing in, trying to strip the ball away. Unable to do so. Spogerino of the Ballon Bishops. Able to keep possession of it. Right here in front of us. Margolis. Ballon Bishops with some one-touch passes on this. Unsuccessful, as they got the ball into the box. Last touch by Darko. Pacers back line starting to separate just a little bit. Frazier's able to get away momentarily. Aguilar had pressure put on by Marangois. Marangois backed off. Now the Ballon Bishops have it once again. It's now Darko. It's in the box. Takes a shot left side wide. And Kidd will just watch it sail away. One thing I'm noticing about Darko is that he has a significant size difference to a lot of those members of the Pacers back line. Almost the size of a tree trunk. Campbell now. There's plenty of space. Trying to figure out which direction he wants to take the ball. Passes over to the right side. Receives it back. Pass over to the left side. As there was almost not enough behind that. Pacers able to keep it. Switch fields. Now working their way towards the middle. There, had it taken away. But Hurd gets it right back for the Pacers. Hurd got past Zala momentarily. Zala had no choice but to make contact with Hurd, who quickly puts the ball back into play. It's Alvarez. Will switch fields once again. All the way to Rutland. Alvarez back to Rutland. Rutland now trying to split two defenders. As there's a member of the Pacers squad down on the ground. Didn't see what happened exactly. As we have a pause. And whoever it is that's down will be attended to. Didn't really see what happened exactly. Wasn't Rutland. It looked like that's exactly what happened. As the Ballon Bishops were trying to clear it out, they kicked it right off the member of the Pacers' face, who's thriving in pain. As now he's back up to his feet. Tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a soccer ball dead center off the bridge of your nose doesn't feel good already. You add this cold temperature, that's going to multiply the pain even more. So now a substitution. Thought a substitution was going to be made, as whoever it was walking over towards the sideline. Looks like he's going to stay in. Play resumes. Contact once again. But it's going to remain with the Pacers, as they'll have a free kick coming up. Campbell elects to take the free kick, as it went off the foot of Zalo. Pacers keep it in. Twenty-one left to play here in the first half. Williams here, right in front of us, taking his space, stops, passes over to Hurd. Hurd had pressure immediately by Garcia. Garcia comes up with it. Ballon Bishop's now on the run. Garcia towards the center, takes a shot, goes off the leg of Campbell. Kid's able to fall on it. Great job there by Rush Campbell, senior member of the back line, getting a body in front of that for the Pacers. Kid boots it out. So I believe that's the first punt that Kid's had to make so far in this game. Darko, one-on-one with Campbell. Campbell doing all he can to try and stay in front of Darko, who's taking it all the way down towards the corner marker. Ball comes out. Pacers come up with it. Rutland now. Pass through the middle. Over to Alvarez. Alvarez trying to beat Garcia. Excuse me, Aguilar, I should say, as he has it taken away from him. Most likely because I messed up his name. As William comes back up with it for the Pacers. Aguilar once again. Drops it back to Hurd. To the right side is Campbell with it. Campbell to Frazier. Frazier up the middle to Hurd. As Williams put it through the legs of Lemus. It doesn't matter though. Pacers are trying to cross it in the middle. Had it taken away. Lemus now battling through contact. Lemus now trying to find an opening. Try to take a shot. Had it blocked. Wanted a whistle. As Garcia, guy out in front. And now the Ballon Bishops take back over. Hurd comes back up with it. Short chip pass though by Zalo to try and find entry in the zone. It's now Aguilar with Zalo all down his back. Now the officials call for a whistle as we'll make our first substitutions of the game. Vera will come out for the Pacers. Darko will come out for the Ballon Bishops. Coming on now is Rodriguez. And coming on for the Pacers will be Alex Macedo. Thrower now coming up for the Pacers. As they drop it all the way back. Shots even right now between the two teams at 2 apiece. Pacers with 2 shots on target so far. None just yet for the Ballon Bishops. Let's hope it stays that way, as we have 17 minutes remaining in the first half. It's Kelly. It's taken down from behind. Foul called. It's now Aguilar. Prepared to take the free kick. Williams and Frazier will stay put. Free kick on the way. Opportunity now as it's right in front of Rogers. Ballon Bishops clear it out. Hurd tries to send it back in. And Rogers comes up as he bumped into Rutland. Doesn't matter either way. Free kick coming up with just under 16 minutes to play here in the first half. Hurd now drops back to Frazier. Frazier back to Hurd. Through pass. Goes to the opposition. It's Paredes. Came up with it. Sent it all the way down to the opposite side of the field. Williams now to Lemus. Wild pass as he put a head down like a bull to settle down the ball. Fifteen minutes remaining in the first half. Still even at 0-0. Williams right in front of us. Drops back to Frazier. Frazier switches sides to Campbell. And Campbell's pass is intercepted. 3-on-4 now coming up for the Ballon Bishops. Great job there by Frazier to get out in front. Ballon Bishops keeping it in though. Pacers so far have been really good with their possessions. Not a lot of miscues other than the one we just saw. But a good recovery right afterwards. Now the Pacers on the attack once again as Aguilar takes down one defender. Now from the left side, cross up the middle, shot taken. Fallon Bishops keep it in as it went off the legs of somebody. As Aguilar comes back up with it, now he'll cross it. Now Williams is there to intercept it. Williams trying to keep it in, unable to do so. Great effort there, though, by the Pacers, who were breathing down the Fallon Bishops' neck there for a little bit. Yeah, it all started with a crossing from the left side by McAdoo. As a shot was put right on, well, not right on target, but it went off the legs, I believe, Lemus. Even better job by the Pacers to not give up on the play, as it could have easily gone out. As now Campbell, great save there by Kidd, as a shot was put right on by Sass. Kidd extending both arms to block the shot. As Williams is on the ground, or Campbell I should say, was on the ground trying to come up with it. Sass took it right away and put the shot dead center on Kidd, who comes up with his first save of the match. Under 12 and a half to play now. Off the head of Paredes. Middle of the field now. Pacers have it. Rodriguez trying to come up with it for the Fallon Bishops. Pacers get it right back, but not before the Fallon Bishops can send it all the way back down to Frazier. Frazier over the Williams. Frazier and Campbell staying in sync. Kelly and Williams move up just a little bit for the Pacers back line. Now a tackle made by Garcia. Takes down McAdoo. As we'll have a whistle. The official comes over and says something to Rodriguez. Free kick coming up. It'll be taken by Frazier. Clock stopped with 11:02 in the first. Both teams still trying to find the first goal tonight's matchup. Goes all at the foot of Campbell. Kidd will have it. Kidd. No pressure whatsoever. Clears it out. The far side of the field. I believe they're going to say Kelly was unable to keep it in. That one now for the Fallon Bishops. Ten minutes to play here in the first half. Hurd strips it away. Long ball down the field to the intended target, Donnie Leahy. He's checked in for the Pacers. It was now bad first touch. Unable to hold on to it. Donnie Leahy comes in for Josh Rutland. To the left of your screen. For 9.5 to play, Fallon Bishops Starting to work the ball up. It's Rodriguez. Unable to get to it in time before it goes out of play. Not a whole lot of good opportunities for the Battling Bishops. Other than that one opportunity that Sass had one-on-one with Kidd. Other than that, Pacers on the defensive side of the ball played pretty solid so far in this first half. Let's just see if they can establish an attack. Hopefully take a late lead here. Close out the first. Swing and a miss for Paredes. So we'll drop it back down to Garcia. Throwing coming up for the Pacers in front of the Battling Bishops bench. As they get to Leahy. Leahy puts it back in the middle for Alvarez. Cross attempted by Lemus. Can't get in the middle. But the Pacers will settle for the corner kick, as it'll be their first opportunity of the evening. As it will come from the far marker. Right side, Aguilar will be taking it. Kicks on the way. As Rogers had to jump up with the top of the goalpost to knock that one away. They're going to say, I believe, Leahy bumped into Rogers. So there's a free kick coming up either way. Seven to play in the first. 0-0. Right here in front of us, Margolis. Pass up to Rodriguez. He's being held onto by Frazier. As at times, things have been physical between the two teams. Nothing too crazy though. Official with a couple of whistles. First half as we have a Battling Bishop down as play carries on. Kidd, nice block on the right side. As it's Leluon, I should say, who's down. Now with a dead ball. The officials will go over to check on him. Not really sure what happened there. As it looks like he just ran in to somebody who's on the Pacer roster. Collision. Stops play. And we have a pause in the game due to an injury, and with that, we'll take one with them. 0-0 between the Battling Bishops and the Pacers. 5:50 remaining in the first half. Sure, listen to play-by-play coverage of William Peace Men's Soccer on the Pacer Sports Network. Play resumes. Just under 6 minutes to go here in the first half between the Ballon Bishops and the Pacers. Leah Luan, I should say, was the injured Ballon Bishop that had to come off the pitch. As the Pacers now have it on the left side. Hurd loses his footing. Ballon Bishops come up with it. Garcia has his pass intercepted by Campbell. Campbell then has his pass intercepted. Lemus, though, ultimately comes up with it for the Pacers. Lemus now takes a shot, bounces off of Rogers, and the Ballon Bishops just elect to clear it out to the left. Sometimes in this cold weather, it's hard for the goalie to maintain a grip of the ball immediately as he has to face a shot. It's under 4.5 to play. McAdoo tries to cross over to the right side. Unable to find Lemus. As now the Luarn is able to beat Campbell. I guess the Luarn never left the pitch after the collision. That shook him up momentarily. They're just over 3.5 to play. Kelly tries to come up with it for the Pacers. The Ballon Bishops come up with it instead. Now in front of us, Aguilar. Pass over to the right side to Hurd. Hurd settles it. Passes over to Alvarez. Alvarez over to Lemus. Lemus finds Leahy. Leahy tries to put it in the middle. Nobody there. Ball goes out of play. Leahy had the right idea there as he tried to put it out in front. As he saw Aguilar coming in from the left side. Aguilar just unable to get to it in time. Pacers, though, with some good looks so far in this first half as we're under 2.5 to play. Aguilar is taken down. Foul called. Frazier takes the free kick. Puts it all the way down to Lemus. Lemus 1-on-1 with Bogerino. Now Lemus gets taken down. He's slow to get up. Grabbing over to his right side. It's now Lemus. Might have to be attended to. Clock stop once again. 1:41. 0-0 between the two teams. We'll take a pause as you're listening to coverage of William Peace Men's Soccer on the Pacers Sports Network. Lemus gets up under his own power. Good to see. Play like Jorge Lemus, you need him for a whole nother second half. It's under a minute to play here. Williams will pick it up. Prepares to throw it in. Try to get it to Alvarez. As we approach the 1 minute marker. Alvarez to Aguilar. Quick pass through the legs to Lemus. Or excuse me, Hurd, I should say. Hurd had it taken away by Marangolis. Throwing now coming up. 30 seconds remaining. Hurd checks the scoreboard. Throwing in the box. Goes off the legs of Leahy. Finds McAdoo. McAdoo just turns around to try and put a shot on. Has it blocked by Marangos. 15 seconds. Throwing coming up for the Pacers. One final attempt to try and score before the half. 5 seconds. And the Ballon Bishops will just run it out. There you have it. High octane first half. But we're without a goal. As both teams had some good looks. Pacers controlled a majority of the time of possession in that first half. Trip Kidd was tested once. So he was able to make a good stop. Ultimately, Pacers, I want to say, won that first half. What would have made it even better is if they had been able to score a goal. Nonetheless, we've officially reached the end of the first half here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Our halftime score is your William Peace Pacers. The Wesleyan University, our halftime score, your William Peace Pacers 0. The Wesleyan Ballon Bishops 0. Coming up on our halftime coverage, we'll give you our first half stats presented by the Pacers Sports, or by Go Peace Pacers. But right now, let's take a pause as we've reached our halftime entertainment here at Wake Med Soccer Park on the Pacer Sports Network. Welcome back to the Pacer Sports Network. We have reached Our halftime entertainment here at Wake Med Soccer Park, Graham Hill. On the call this evening, Jacob Litticott, our producer, in the broadcast booth. Cam Balance, our camera operator. Shelby Lombardo is the producer of this broadcast. 0-0 between the Ballon Bishops and the Pacers. But before we break down the first half in full detail, at this time, let's take a look back at our Pacers Athletics week in review so far this week, presented by the Pacers Sports Network. Fans, as always, you can listen in and view all WPU athletic events, such as you're doing right now, through the Pacers Sports Network. Be sure to visit GoPeacePacers.com or the WPU Athletics YouTube channel, presented by the Athletic Communications Department of WPU, for all your play-by-play and live stream coverage of William Peace Athletics. To start things off, let's first recognize our Pacers volleyball team, who, to begin the week, split matches this past Saturday at the Herman Athletic Center as they first fell 3-1 to Southern Virginia, giving them their second loss in USA South Conference play. But then they swept Brevard 3-0 in the second game of the day. The Pacers' top performer from Saturday's game, Shelby Cooper, who tallied 12 kills in Game 1 and 10 in Game 2. Mackenzie Russell added 28 assists in Game 1 and 36 in Game 2. Yesterday, the Pacers volleyball team was in action once again at the Herman Athletic Center as they defeated Pfeiffer 3-1 on Senior Day. Pacers' top performers were Kelsey Bierbauer, who led the team with 14 kills, while Mackenzie Russell tallied 41 assists once again. Mackenzie Russell, goodness gracious, she might be in the run-in to win USA South Player of the Week again. Lannis Lamont tallied 6 blocks as well in the 3-1 victory. That now gives the Pacers an overall record of 21-6 for the season. As I mentioned earlier, they're now 10-2 in USA South Conference play. Up next for Pacer Volleyball, they will head to Salem College this Saturday for a tri-match, taking on the Spirits at 2 p.m. and then Wesleyan University at 4 p.m. After the tri-match this weekend, the Pacers have one more single match against crosstown rival Meredith in a rematch from earlier in the season when the Pacers picked up the victory against the Avenging Angels. Yeah, they're the Avenging Angels. I don't know why I was thinking Guardians. I have MLB postseason on my mind. That rematch takes place, and now I just can't talk. That rematch takes place on Wednesday, October 28th. They officially close out the regular season next Saturday, October 29th against Greensboro College and Mary Baldwin in the Greensboro College tri-match. Best of luck to our Pacers volleyball team and the remainder of the season. Let's switch gears to women's soccer, as Bailey Womack was named USA South Defender of the Week. The Winfield, West Virginia senior helped the Pacers hold 3 conference opponents to 3 goals scored, while posting 1 goal and 1 assist in a 2-1 record from last week. In a 2-1 win over Pfeiffer, Womack assisted on the game-winning goal in the 75th minute. In a 2-1 win over Salem, Womack scored an insurance goal in the 49th minute as well. Now, the women's soccer team also played Wesleyan this afternoon on the road in Rocky Mount, where the Pacers came back to defeat the Ballon Bishops 3-2. The Pacers scored the first goal not even 2 minutes into the match, as Kira Delaney gave the Pacers the early 1-0 lead. 13 minutes later, Wesleyan would even up the score after Matt Jones stopped a one-on-one scoring opportunity, but a rebound shot gave the Ballon Bishops a goal. 14 minutes later, Wesleyan would score the go-ahead goal to give them the 2-1 lead heading into halftime. 6 minutes into the second half, a goal by Dana Kenworthy off a penalty kick evened up the score, also giving Kenworthy her first goal of the year. And then finally, at the 56-minute mark, Kira Delaney put it away for the Pacers on a header thanks to a cross pass provided by Rainey Green to secure the Pacers the 3-2 win. Women's soccer now improves to 9-4 overall for the season. They even up their USA South Conference record at 3-3 and pick up their second win in a row. They return to Wake Med Soccer Park this Saturday as they'll host Southern Virginia on senior night at 7 p.m. We'll have live stream coverage right here on the WPU Athletics YouTube channel. Pacers women's soccer team will close out the regular season on the road against crosstown rival Meredith this upcoming Tuesday. And next Saturday, they'll travel to Brevard to officially close out things before the start of the USA South Conference Tournament. Let's now transition back to men's soccer as the Pacers received 2 USA South Weekly accolades as Josh Rutland was named both the Player and Rookie of the Week. The Wake Forest freshman native scored 3 goals, including the eventual game-winning goal in each of the 2 Pacer wins from last week against USA South competition. In a 2-0 win over Methodist, Rutland opened the scoring with a goal in the 50th minute. In a 3-0 victory over Mary Baldwin, Rutland scored the contest's first goal in the 48th minute before notching an insurance goal in the 88th minute. Let's see if Rutland can continue his magic in the second half of action coming up shortly and, hey, possibly score the Pacers' first goal. We'll take a pause. When we come back, we'll provide you first half stats as you're listening to coverage of William Peace Men's Soccer right here on the Pacer Sports Network. Welcome back to the Pacer Sports Network. You're still listening, whether you want to or not, to our halftime entertainment. A little thunderstroke by AC/DC. 0-0 between the Battling Bishops and the Pacers. Before we kick off second half action, let's bring you our first half stats presented by GoPeacePacers.com. Fans, as always, for the latest news and updates from WPU Athletics, please visit GoPeacePacers.com. You can like the Pacers on Facebook or follow them on Instagram and Twitter, and as well at GoPeacePacers. The Battling Bishops out shooting the Pacers 5-4. Shots on target all even at 3 apiece. Pacers had one corner kick opportunity. Battling Bishops with none. No red cards or yellow cards given between the two. 9 fouls acquired to the Battling Bishops, to the Pacers 8. 3 saves apiece for the two goaltenders between Rogers and Kidd. The Pacers were led in shots by Jorge Lemus, who had 2. Only 1 falling on target. On the other side, number 11, Sass, had 1 shot for the Battling Bishops. That 1 shot falling on target. And then Garcia with 1 shot as well, but couldn't put it on the mark. Second half action is now underway. Pacers working left to right now. Kelly right here in front of us drops it back down to Campbell. Campbell over to the left side of Frazier. Frazier, long pass to the far side of the field to Williams. Williams gives it up to the opposition. Frazier gets it back for the Pacers. It's now Aguilar, awkwardly taken down from behind. No whistle there. As now Aguilar makes the opposition. I'm telling you folks, the colder it gets out here, the harder it is to target. Just because I'm not trying to chatter my teeth. Hey, speaking of how cold it is, temperature currently 55 degrees. Made that 48 as my phone just reset. 48 degrees. This temperature should drop down to 46 before the game's over with. Clear skies under the lights here at Wake Med Soccer Park. To the left side of your monitor, Kelly drops it back down all the way to Kidd. Kidd over the left side to Frazier. Frazier to the middle for Campbell. Campbell back to Kelly. Kelly tries to pass it up to Lemus. As Lemus was taken down there by Belgerino. As I was going to say, good sportsmanship there, as it looked like Belgerino was going to assist him up, and then kind of gave him a nice swap across the chest. Nice little friendly competition there. Nonetheless, free kick coming up, as it'll be Alvarez who takes it. Aguilar now hikes his leg up, trying to settle it, and then the ball ultimately falls in Rogers' hands. Is that McAdoo?
I'd say McAdoo.
It's now in the middle. The Battling Bishops have it. Sass with an awkward pass to the right side of the field. Pacers rushing back on defense. Kidd waiting for Campbell to push up. As he was adjusting his shin guard. Kidd now punts it away. in the middle circle. Nice bump there by McAdoo. Trying to take the ball away from Garcia. Whistle blows. Foul called against the Ballon Bishops. Their first of the second half. 5.5 has already elapsed in the second. As the free kick will be taken on the edge of the circle. There's the kick. Kelly trying to keep it in. Lemus now to the right of your screen. Hurd now. Trying to work through a herd of Ballon Bishops. Crossover. Shot on the way. As McAdoo was set up for it. Off the cross by Rutland. But McAdoo just couldn't get a good first touch on it. And instead sent it up in the air. Speaking of sending the ball up in the air. Right here in front of us. But Luan unable to hold on to it. Lemus and Luan battling for it. That's now the Ballon Bishops looking to set up a run on the far side. Marangos establishing things. But the Ballon Bishops ultimately give it away. Six minutes now clocked away in the second half. Kelly right in front of us. Sends it over the head of Rutland. Great job there by the Pacers. Let's get a foot in there, set up by Frazier, who disrupted things for the Ballon Bishops. Now Lima's short pass over to the right side for Hurd. Then Ogerino will come up and say, I don't think so. And send it out of play. Throw-in coming up. 7 minutes now expired in the second half. Still 0-0. McAdoo. Ballon 2, Ballon Bishops. Wanted a call, didn't get it. Now to the left side. But Luan takes some space. Short pass, one-on-one opportunity. Shoots, scores! And the Ballon Bishops have broken the seal and scored the first goal off a one-on-one shot by Justo Espadon. Yeah, Espadon just got lucky there. As the intended target, it went right past him. And Kidd might have had eyes on who it was in front. As Luan tried a short pass off the left foot to Sass. It went by Sass, and instead Espadon found it. He was left one-on-one with Trip Kidd, who left his marker and was inching out, ready to get it for when it did go past Sass, but didn't account for Espadon to be there to shoot it instead. And the Ballon Bishops are now up 1-0. 1-0, I should say, over the Pacers. It took the Ballon Bishops 6 shots with 4 on target and about 8 minutes into the second half to find the scoreboard. Well, for Coach Huber, obviously you're disappointed that you give up an early goal in the second half, but the good news for the Pacers is that they still have 36 minutes to work with, and this team has a lot of offense where that should be plenty of time for them to have to set something up. But right now they're going to have to go back on the defensive side of the ball as the Ballon Bishops will have a corner kick coming up from the right near marker. Kick is on the way. Goes past one defender. Another shot taken. Ballon Bishops score again. Off the corner kick. And this time it is Lucas Morangos with the go-ahead goal. Now the Ballon Bishops up 2-0. 2 goals in a 2-minute span of each other. And the Pacers trying to regroup. Dangerous look from the corner kick. Pacers had one opportunity to clear it out as they went for a header to try and bring the ball down. And instead it went past the one member who was back there for the Pacers and instead found the foot of Morangos, who now picks up his first goal of the season to now give the Ballon Bishops the 2-goal lead. On the other side now, Pacers just give it away. Goal kick coming up for the Ballon Bishops. (2-0). Ballon Bishops 2 goals off 7 shot attempts with 5 on target. And it's Morangos and Espadon who picks up his 3rd goal of the season, giving the Ballon Bishops the 2-goal lead. Hurd to the middle. Over to the right side. It's Kelly. Kelly back to Hurd. Goes back down to Campbell. Campbell over to the left side for Kelly. McAdoo to Aguilar. Aguilar back to McAdoo. And the Ballon Bishops clear it out. In the box now. They drop it back to Rogers. Now right here in front of us, the Lulon. Sends it all the way down towards the far end corner marker. So the Pacers just trying to clear the ball out. (28-on-28) crime there as Rutland is trying to take the ball away from Ojawang. Quick shot, far left. Kid watches it go out of play. Campbell now passes over to Frazier. 13.5. Played so far in this one. Allen Bishop's up 2-0 over the Pacers. 2 goals, 2 minutes apart from each other. And half number 2. Whistle blows. Yellow card given. I believe that's going to be given against Alvarez. So there's the first card of the evening. It goes against the Pacers. Alvarez to be exact. Time stop with 32-13. Allen Bishops 2-0. Free kick coming up right in front of us. It's going to be provided by Luan. Scored the second goal of the evening. Allen Bishops dropping back. Rogers. Pass over to the right side. Campbell now. Forced to kick it out. He was one-on-one with Espada, the other goal scorer for the Allen Bishops this evening. Cross in the middle. Allen Bishops being really aggressive, trying to maintain possession. So now Lemus comes up with it. Sends it too far ahead. Hilario tried to send it back down into the Pacers zone, but instead kicked it out of play. Campbell with it. On the far side of the field of Williams. Williams had it taken away. Now the Allen Bishops on the run. Pacers now just trying to clear it out as they're struggling to do so. Lemus. Too much behind it for Hurd. And it goes right back to the Allen Bishops. It's Peretz, I should say. Keeps it in. Drop that down to Rogers. Rogers over to the right side. From Morangos. It's now collisions starting to happen with one another. Almost looking like traffic on I-40. Right here in front of us to the left of your screen. Allen Bishops drop it back, now taking their space. As members of the Allen Bishops back line starting to pinch up just a tad bit. And now they drop it all the way back down to Rogers. And now the Allen Bishops starting to control the time of possession here in the second half. 12.5 have played so far in the second. Pacers getting ready to get possession back. But before they do that, a substitution will be made as Leahy will come back in for Rutland. Here comes a throw in. Right to Lemus. He had pressure behind him by Belgerino. Hilario came over to take it away. put the ball out in front. Kid came out to try and slide on top of it. Backed away. The Pacers get lucky there. Now on the other side, Hurd trying to set up a run, but then that's just sent right into the grandstands here at Wake Med Soccer Park. As Barongos came racing up. And we have a fan that thinks he's going away with a lucky souvenir. But we need that back. Great job by our Pacer game staff as Grant Jones returns that game ball to Nick Tyler. All ball boy on the sideline. On the actual field, though, ball drops all the way back down to Campbell, who turns to the left side. Send it over to Frazier. Frazier back to Campbell. Campbell now going to send a deep ball. As goodness gracious, Rogers just came out there with a full head of steam to clear that one out. Now on the far side, Leahy gets taken down. Foul will go against the Bowling Bishops. Or excuse me, that was Karan Williams who was taken down. So now we'll have a free kick coming up from the left side. $18.5. Played so far in the second. Here's a free kick. Rogers blocks it away. Remember, the Pacers is on the ground right in front of Rogers. He called some bad contact. And the official automatically signaling for the medical staff to come out on the field. As we'll take a look as whoever it was, when Rogers came out to punch that ball away, not only did Rogers punch that ball away, but he caught contact in the back of the head with a member of the Pacers, and with that, we have an injury stoppage. 26:05 left to go in the second. Pacers trail 2-0. We'll take a break as you're listening to coverage of William P. Soccer right here on the Pacers Sports Network. It was the freshman defender, Drew Frazier, who was taken down from behind by Rogers. An unintentional play. As Frazier will be taken off to the sideline. As play will resume now with 26 left to go. Shot put right on target, right off the free kick, but it hit the corner post. Now, Jose Martinez will come on the pitch for Frazier. junior defender. Goal kick coming up for Rogers. 25 and a half left to play. Pacers just clear it out. Throw in coming up right in front of us. Provided by Belgerino. Belgerino throws it in. Jabari Eason. Pacers trying to get it back. It's Vera. Pass over to the left side to Aguilar. Aguilar. Back to Vera. Vera drops it down to Kelly. Kelly over to the right side to Hurd. 2-on-1. So he drops it back to Kelly. Kelly will just try to send it in. As the boot's put on. Lemus takes down a Ballin Bishop member. Lemus makes a defender miss. Lemus with a shot, and it's blocked off the right arm of Peretz. Good job there by Lemus taking his space. Difficult shot from a difficult angle, but at least it will set up the Pacers for their first corner kick of the second half as they're quick to get it off. Aguilar off the head of Leahy. Comes back to Leahy. She scores! Donnie Leahy couldn't connect on the header. It fell at his feet. Donnie Leahy turns around and sends a boot right into the goal, and the Pacers crack the scoreboard. Donnie Leahy, second goal of the season. First goal of the night for the Pacers. And the Ballin Bishops lead has been cut in half. It was set up by the corner from George Aguilar, who was quick to get it off. As we look at the replay, the Ballin Bishops weren't set. Aguilar caught that. That's why he put the plan in motion, sending that corner into the box. Leahy missed the first initial opportunity with a header opportunity. Ball fell at his feet. Nobody on the Ballin Bishops were looking down. They might have thought Leahy got the header off, but instead, Donnie Leahy sent an absolute rocket, dead center, bullseye, Pacers on the board. As we have another Pacer down. Trainer will come back out. Stoppage of play due to injury. We'll take a stoppage as well, as the Pacers are on the board but still trail the Ballin Bishops 2-1 as you're listening to coverage of William Peace Soccer on the Pacers Sports Network. Welcome back on the Pacers Sports Network. Senior midfielder Danny Alvarez, I believe, was the Pacer who was taken over to the sideline. Substitutions made. Josh Rutland checks back in for indeed Danny Alvarez. If you're just now joining us, all 69 of you watching, Pacers have gotten on the scoreboard thanks to a goal by Donnie Leahy just about a minute and a half ago. And now the Pacers starting to play with a sense of urgency as a whistle is given and a yellow card is given as well. Spilgerino went down on the ground. Fans in attendance don't like the call. Yellow card will be given against Kelly for the second yellow card of the game, as both the yellow notepads are given to the Pacers. So the Ballon Bishops will have a free kick coming up to the left of your screen. It will be taken by Rodriguez. Lemus out in front. Everybody else bunched up at the edge of the box. Here's the kick. Kidd tracks it, and it falls right into the gloves of Trip Kidd. Kidd quick to boot it away. It's Marangolis. Puts it right back in the Pacer zone. Campbell says about down to Kidd. Kidd's able to pick it up. Martinez, who checked in for Frazier, who was taken out. Pushes it back up for the Pacers. Now Lemus on the right side, back to Leahy. Leahy, who scored the first goal for the Pacers, sends it back to Lemus. Lemus on the right side, battling against Ojawang. And Ojawang ultimately puts it out of bounds. All right, so if you're just now joining us, Pacers scored their first goal from the same corner, kicked by the same player, George Aguilar. Ultimately found Donnie Leahy. Let's see what happens again. Kick on the way. First attempt miss. Oh my goodness, it was right there for Lemus. Shot on the way, and Hurd just sends that onto the lacrosse fields of Wake Med Soccer Park. It fell at the feet of Lemus. Lemus unable to get a good first touch on it. And Hurd just put too much under it. As Williams is a little shaken up on the far side. We'll try to run it off. Just over 2.5 remaining in regulation. Pacers trailing by 1 goal. So now the Ballon Bishops will take back over possession. In the middle circle, Hilario drops it back. Lemus comes up with it though for the Pacers, as they now slow down the duration of the play. Campbell will send it up. As it will be intercepted, it will go off the foot. Marangolis. Ballon Bishops take back over. Marangolis. Quick pass up to Iafante. It's taken out from behind. He gets up limping a little bit, or scratch that. That's Luana. Luan, who is taken down. And now another Ballon Bishop. Sent down from behind, but this time the official will give the whistle. Rutland pleading his case. As the Ballon Bishop will do some stargazing for a little bit on the ground. And with that, we'll have another pause, and we'll take one with them. 18:57 remaining in regulation. Ballon Bishops 2, Pacers 1 as now, right as I try to go to commercial, he decides to get up. That's just the way the dice rolls, ladies and gentlemen. Free kick coming up now for the Ballon Bishops. Will be coming from the right side. There's a kick. What a snipe! And the Ballon Bishops score again.